I did want to leave off with some breaking news, obviously.
Yeah.
There was a new assistant coach hired, Fred Vinson. I wanted to know, like, what have been your initial thoughts so far with the hiring? Do you like this hiring? Do you think this is a coach that the Pistons desperately needed maybe last year?
Or for the last 3 or 4 years? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's what I've learned about coaching hires, even front office hires. It's even more of a crapshoot than player evaluations and NBA draft evaluations, even free agent signings and trades where we think we understand the value, but we never really know until things play out. I think we know even less about coaches and what their impact is because so much of that goes on behind the scenes. Sure, we can read body language on a sideline and but even how a team executes on the floor, sometimes that is the players. So I have taken the path of I try not to evaluate these things too much. What I will say is I like the idea behind this. I like the process of bringing in what is considered a shooting coach to this organization. This seems to be what he is known for in his specialty. And there's some guys on this team that could really use that. And so if he's as good as what it sounds like he is, I'm all for this. And it makes a ton of sense.
For sure. I know some people, I was scrolling on the timeline on Twitter and someone's like, well, I guess we're drafting Ron Holland. They're already speculating because this guy is supposed to be like the shot doctor, the shot guru, which we'll get into some prospects later. But I think this is a good hire personally, given the lack of 3-point makes that the Pistons have had over the past couple of seasons. I think they were like almost like 20th or almost dead last in 3-point like makes last season. Not to say that they didn't shoot them, they just weren't going in.
Yeah, I mean, I was pulling up Basketball Reference because this is one of the stats I do. They were 26th in percentage, 27th in attempts, 29th in makes. Like it just, some of the numbers about the Pistons this last season was they didn't shoot the three well. They turned the ball over a lot. They fouled the other team a whole bunch and put them on. Like those to me are floor raising stats if you can improve them. And they were bad in all of those kind of floor stats, I guess, which just the base level, you got to be better in those areas. And hopefully along with talent and acquisition, player acquisition, maybe Fred Vinson can help improve at least one of those things also.
For sure. I mean, I was looking back. I think the last time that the Pistons had like a quote unquote like shooting coach was like David Hoopla, which people know who that was. He used to be Michael Jordan's shooting coach because Van Gundy had him on the roster for maybe like a year or two, and they were like close to top 10 in 3-point makes. Which I mean, if you can get like, I'm not saying we're gonna go from like 30th to like 10, but I mean if you can go middle of the pack, I think maybe instead of 14 wins, maybe you're closer to 20. You never know.
Well, I think there's going to be, I would assume there's personnel decisions that help with the 3-point shooting, this as well. I also, I don't know this for a fact. I do wonder if this is somewhat of a Monty Williams thing as well. I don't know Monty Williams' history enough to know where his teams have ranked in the league in terms of 3-point attempts and makes and all of that. Maybe they didn't shoot very many because Monty knew that they didn't have good shooters. But I think this needs to be an organizational focus in terms of you have to space the floor. We're seeing it right. The Celtics have run the league all year long, regular season, now throughout the postseason, without one of their best players. And part of that is because they can really space the floor and shoot it. And I'm not saying Detroit's ever going to get close to that, in the near future, but they have to start making strides towards valuing the floor spacing that shooting provides.